Okay, well, good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Tahoe-Truckee and our beautiful morning here in July. I'm Reverend Pam Brandman, the senior minister here at the center. And we know that whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. We know that there are many paths to God, but they all lead to oneness and love. Our purpose for our center is love, and our vision is empowering all, e- embracing all, and serving with love while awakening to the One. We set our intentions for today with our receptivity statement that you'll see on our screen, so please read along with me. I am here by divine appointment. Something I am about to hear applies to my life. I am open, receptive, and willing to explore the possibilities. So our musician this morning is Angelika Schaefer. And Angelika is one of our favorite musicians because I know when you'll hear her, she has an angelic voice to match her name and her music as well. And so she's picked out some songs that I think are really well aligned with our theme for this morning, which is You and I Are We. Angelika?
So I have chosen this Oneness song, and unfortunately, I don't know the author. I learned this in another spiritual center, but I always like to add the Sanskrit prayer to send peace and well-being to all creatures, all beings everywhere. Lokaha samastaha sukhinu bhavantu. Just so you know what the meaning is of those beautiful words. There's a presence moving gently in the quiet of my being, calling softly all the time. One heart, one mind, one life, united and divine. There's a presence moving gently in the quiet of my being, calling softly all the time. One heart, one mind, one life, united and divine. Lokaha samastaha sukhinu bhavantu. Lokaha samastaha sukhinu bhavantu. Lokaha samastaha sukhinu bhavantu. There's a presence moving gently in the quiet of my being, calling softly all the time. One heart, one mind, one life, united and divine. One heart, one mind, one life, united and divine. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Angelika. And this sets the tone for our practitioner today, which is Michael Brandman. And he's going to be sharing our special reading and an invocation for this morning. And Michael and I just got back from our vacation to Scandinavia on a cruise, and so we went to Sweden and Norway and Finland and Denmark and Poland and lots of wonderful places. So we're relaxed and calm and ready to meditate. Michael?
So, many of you, oh, somebody walked in. Wonderful, welcome. uh, let's see, what was I going to say? Oh, the topic today that Reverend Pam will be talking about will be on relationships, and life and love is all about relationship with God, relationship with ourselves, and relationship with others in whatever capacity that might be. So I'll be reading today from the Science of Mind textbook by Ernest Holmes, and it's on page 557, and it's in the part of the meditations chapter, and it's entitled "My Vibration Attracts Friends to Me." Ah, here comes Patricia. Wonder if I should wait for her to come. It's okay? Okay. I am never alone, never lonely, for I have as companions and friends those people who are drawn to me by their ever active and immutable law of attraction. I desire to be loved, therefore I allow myself to love greatly, to feel warmly inclined toward people, to be interested in them and helpful on their behalf. I give as I wish to receive. It's not enough that I profess to love people. I must really love people more dearly than I have ever loved before, because all men and women are my brothers and sisters. I do not outline who shall be my friends and companions, for there's no desire to coerce, compel, or suggest to anyone. The law of attraction brings into contact and relationship with me all those people in whose company I find the greatest profit and enjoyment, and to whom I may give the most. I am happy and radiant, for I enjoy all the times perfect companionship. I trust implicitly the law of attraction to bring into my environment and atmosphere friends and loved ones, and establish for me a community of interest and helpfulness. As I love and cooperate with my fellow man, so does he or she love me and give his cooperation to me. I am happy in all my companionships and relationships because they are worked out perfectly by the law, and the law is motivated to work for me by my love for people. My loving thought of others attracts friends to me. And so I'll take, and we all will take this into prayer and into treatment. First of all, I would like to express gratitude. Sometimes we do this at the end of the treatment, but I want to do that first today. Very, very grateful for our community that have shown up today, and Jackie and Dan and Julian and Sue and Patricia and Shirley and our other guests.
And there's quite a few online.
Oh, that's good. And everybody online. And I also want to especially give my gratitude for Diana, who is doing the audiovisual today, just last minute, called on yesterday, and knowing that everything is running smoothly and well. And of course, grateful for Reverend Pam and to the center and to God. So, I know that God is all love, the one mind, and I know that this mind and this love is in me, as me, and through me, as well as in all my relationships and the relationships today of all people attending this service and all those in the Lake Tahoe community and around the world. We are all one in relationship with, with God, knowing again that God is in us, as us, and through us. I know this to be true. I'm so grateful for this center and all those that are here today and those that are here in service today, knowing that this service is perfect and smooth, going to be run smoothly and passionately and with poise. And I release my word into the law, knowing that it is already done, already whole, already perfect, with love and affection. And we say together, and so it is. And we'll have another song and a musical from Angelika.
So Reverend Pam had asked me to learn this song, and it's from The Letterman by Peter, written by Peter Schickele. And I think the last part of the song was changed by someone, I don't know who, to fit more of the spiritual center purpose. So it's called No Man is an Island. And it's one of those that stays in your head. Once you get it in, it'll just keep playing. No man is an island. No man stands alone. Each man's joy is joy to me. Each man's grief is my own. We need one another. So I will defend each man as my brother, each man as my friend. I saw the people gather, I heard the music start. The song that they were singing is ringing in my heart. No man is an island way out in the blue. We all look to the one above for our strength to renew. When I help my brother, when I know that I plant the seed of friendship that will never die. No man is an island. No man stands alone. No man is an island way out in the blue. No man is an island. No man stands alone.
this song, I think when it was inspired to be written, back in the 60s as an anti-war song. But the first person who read the words, it's from a book that's written by John Donne, No Man is an Island. And Joan Baez read a quote from it at one of her concerts, and it's on one of her recordings. And so I think she also sang it. I didn't find anything online. The Letterman was the first one that I could find. But it was something that at the time was really inspiring to a lot of people. And so let me just read it for you, the quote that, the excerpt that Joan Baez read. No man is an island, entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe is the less, as well as if a promontory were, as well, if a manner of thy friends or thine own were. Any man's death diminishes me, because I am involved in mankind, or humankind, we'd say today, and therefore never send to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. Right? And so we are all part of the one, and this is an essential part of the science of mind and what we believe. We know that there is one creator, one God that has created each one of us, and that universal spirit that is in that absolute level, in order for it to manifest in the physical world in that particular level, has to come through us, through each one of us, including little ones that want to be here and happy. And so each one of us then is a part of the whole. Just like, each one of my fingers is a part of me, and they work together, right? And they oppose each other, hopefully cooperatively, and so it is a part of it. But that is how God expresses. And so when we think of the theme today, you and I are we, there is a synergy of being together as two people. And I know, one of the wonderful things about making love is that when you become one with that other person, it reminds us that there is this barrier that we see as the limit of who we are is just a construct in our minds. Even though there's this physical limit, at the spiritual level, we are intimately connected with all people and all things, right? So our relationship then is with family, with friends, and community. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, in our society, there is a great deal of rugged individualism that is really respected and admired, and, it goes back to that Marlboro man and that whole thing of, I want to be independent, and I don't, some people take it as to, I don't care what it does to anyone else. It's just, I need to have my place. I need to do my thing. And it is, that's going to be okay. I don't have to worry about others. But when we think about it, that we're all part of the one being, right? Whatever we're doing to a part of ourselves. So we really need to look at the highest and best for all people and what we think, do, and say, and what we believe, right? So this also applies to the Centers for Spiritual Living and the Science of Mind. Some people think that all I need to do is sit and meditate and have my consciousness, and that will elevate the world. I don't need to worry about what's going on out there. But that we have to come back to, in order to express itself, God depends on us to be its hands and eyes and ears and feet to do whatever it is that's going to be done in this world, right? And so that the paradigm of I'm independent and I can do whatever I need to do regardless is, it's outdated. And it's ineffective for creating a world that works for everyone, which is part of our mission as the Centers for Spiritual Living. If it was solely about our individual selves, we would not need to gather in spiritual communities. We would be content to remain on our individual islands of consciousness, right? In a practical sense, we understand our interdependence with others because most of us, we don't make our own clothing, we don't grow our own food, we don't bring it from the farm to the table and all those things that happen in between. And we don't watch our own children when we go to work. it's part of a team, right? And so our teens that might be here watching this wonderful one are at teen camp today. So, anyways, and we've got people at a Sundance festival, and so it's July. So, but we're all in our perfect place wherever we are today, and it's we don't exist. Yin doesn't exist without the yang, right? We need each other. There is that balance of going in and out, of giving and receiving. It has to be a complete circuit, right? If we're just giving, we're going to be depleted. We also need to receive, and partly it's in that circle of what happens on the physical world, but it's also in that circuit that happens where we can always be still and know that the presence of God is within me, is who I am. And we are filled by the infinite love of Spirit, and that is how we are always filled. There's days when you've got a long list of things that just doesn't seem to get done, or some emergency comes up, or there's someone in our family that we need to do something for today. And when we go within, that infinite source of energy and strength is always there to support us. Jesus surrounded himself with 12 disciples, right? And he taught them to go out into the world and with the work of elevating consciousness and feeding the poor and healing the sick. He said, "These things that I have done, ye shall do also, and even greater," right? Because Jesus was the great example to show what happens if we allow that Christ consciousness to fill our own being, if we allow that Christ consciousness to flow through us. These are the things. This is the contribution that we have to share with the world, And so all 13 of them did their work individually and collectively in the communities that they visited. Now, according to Aristotle, a human being is by nature a social animal. Society is something that precedes the individual, right? The basic philosophical principle manifests in many ways throughout our lives. Humankind has survived and even thrived because we live together, right? As a species, that's part of our secret of survival. And at the most fundamental level, we begin as an embryo, wholly dependent on our mothers until we're born, right? And after birth, we're free to move and think independently, but we develop interdependent relationships with other people who provide food, education, safety, and shelter from storms or predators that might attack us, or nurture us as we're growing up until we're able to fully take care of ourselves. We enjoy companionship, joy, and love with friends, with family, as we nurture each other's lives and explore life's beauty and wonder together. And as we discover mutual connections with other people, we build healthy relationships in our families, with our friends, with our businesses, with our communities. It's all about relationships. It's all about that we consciousness that we develop. Indeed, we may find that those feelings of love and fidelity bind us so closely with one another that our consciousness evolves from seeing ourselves from separate people and being you and I to being united as we, as part of that one, right? And even greater. And there is that synergy of two people being joined together that is as a we that is so much stronger and has so many more possibilities than just separate individuals. Once our consciousness moves from separation to unity with another human being, the process can continue until we realize that we are one with all people and all of creation. And in reality, we are looking back towards that one source that created all of us. We are an individualized and unique expression of that one life, right? And so all of our relationships then are part of their purpose is to have us go beyond seeing ourselves as alone. And we will, I know when my children were growing up, I would stretch and do things for them that I was afraid to do for myself. And so it gives us courage. It pulls us beyond ourselves, right? Each person is an incarnation of God. This is a quote from What Religious Science Teaches by Ernest Holmes. He said, every person is an incarnation of God, and since each person is an individual. Everyone is a unique incarnation. You know, this rugged individualist is always unique, but always a part of the one at the same time. We're always connected as we. Whatever we do to another person, we're doing to ourselves. Now, in the reading this morning, Michael talked about the law of attraction. And this is a really amazing quote that's out of the Science of Mind textbook. And the law of attraction is an essential part of the teachings of the Science of Mind. And I'd like to go through several parts of it. And so it begins, I am never alone, never lonely. For I have as companions and friends those people who are drawn to me by the ever active and immutable law of attraction. And what this says is that what our conscious is, what we believe that we are, that is what we attract to us. Right? So if we don't like what's going on outside of us, we don't necessarily look outside of ourselves to the answers. We don't want to analyze and find out everything. I mean, it gives us feedback. But if we want to change the pattern, 1 plus 2 is 3. It's not 4. If we want 4, we have to go back to the beginning. So we need 2 plus 2 or 1 plus 3 or something. We need to change what we're putting in. So the analogy then is that we go within and we listen to Spirit. And this is why we meditate and pray, all right? Because the truth of who we are is this whole being. And so as we connect with that and see that as our reality, and we live from the inside out rather than the outside in, when we have that higher consciousness, then we attract what it is that matches that consciousness that we've developed. And so we may see our friends changing. We may see some people fall away, right? Because we're no longer sending out the signals to connect to them. That may be good, and that might be bad, or at least some sadness and grief there. But what we will find is that when we have that higher consciousness coming out, the law of attraction will bring to us people that match that feeling of wholeness and love and joy that we will create together. Or we'll find that we are different people and we act differently, and perhaps we have been doing some things that were contributing to those relationships. And so, we call ourselves on our own and say, okay, what is it that I can do that I can change? How can I be a different person expressing the divine as who I am? And then that will also attract people to us, and we'll be attracted to them because we'll be looking for something different, right? So another part of this is that I give as I wish to receive, right? So it is that whole thing. It's a circuit. So when we have that infinite flow coming from within us of love and joy and wonder, and we give it out in abundance, then it circles back to us in the world, right? But we are always replenished, not by just what's coming back at the physical level, but by what's coming in from the infinite flow. So I give as I wish to receive. Another point he has in here, I do not outline who shall be my friends and companions, for there is no desire to coerce, compel, or suggest to anyone. Right? So one of the things that when you're a practitioner, people will come to us and ask for prayer. And Mary might come in and say, I really want Joe to fall in love with me, and I want to marry Joe, and we'll have a life ever after. Well, Joe has some say about that, right? And so, so we don't want to be coercing someone. This isn't witchcraft where we're changing people. Instead, what we're doing is tuning into the one and that divine intention. And so as God has created us, God has created that person who might be Joe, it might be someone else, who will be part of that perfect match. It might be Sally. Okay, so it is whoever matches who we are tended to be, right? So we don't want to coerce. Instead, we want to be true to who we are and really listen to who we are. And I love this part, the last paragraph. He says, I am happy and radiant, for I enjoy at all times perfect companionship. I trust implicitly the law of attraction to bring into my environment and atmosphere friends and loved ones, and establish for me a community of interest and helpfulness. As I love and cooperate with my fellow humans, so do they love me and give me their cooperation. The law is motivated to work for me by my love and for people, my love for people. My loving thoughts of others attracts friends to me. Right? So when someone wants to have friends, to have a friend, be a friend. So look at what you're giving out. But because you've been created by the divine, you are a whole package. And so you are created with all of the friends and love and abundance and all good things that are part of that package, right? So the old thing is God doesn't make any junk, right? So now another quote, and this has been attributed to many people. There are no strangers here, only friends you haven't yet met. Right? And so the knowing that each person is a part of us, we might be afraid to, either we're shy or maybe we just don't know anyone that looks like Joe across the room. But if we go back into the one, we can first tune into the fact that we and this other person are part of that same one. And so there is a connection at that inner level. And so I know when I was young and I was pretty shy. And so I remember it when I was in my dorm room, and I really wanted to have more friends. So I meditated, and I got really clear that of oneness. And then I walked down the hall and knocked on someone's door, right? And I was just shaking as I did it. But I was received with warmth and friendliness by someone who was just as shy on the other side of that door. So it's something that we learn to do. And it's also something that's really important in this world because people are very different. All of these unique beings. And a lot of the division that we have in the world is because we don't know the other person. There's a project, and I forget the name of it, Humankind Project or something like that, but it sets up people that are from two different political parties or two different faiths or something like that, and has them have a conversation. And so they come in very different people, and they're going to leave very different people. But their whole thinking will have evolved and elevated because they appreciate this other person that is a part of the one, right? And so we learn to appreciate each other. The divine energy that binds us together is love, right? In a book called Ideas of Power, Ernest Holmes said, "Love is the only final security in the universe. Love is the greatest healing power in the universe, the only thing that binds people together in a community of spirit." In the Science of Mind textbook, Ernest Holmes said, "My love goes out to everyone in the world." Right? So it's that divine love and just sending it out. And we don't have to worry about, I'm going to send it to this person and not that one. No, we've got infinite supply, so we just can radiate it in all directions, knowing that it is going to come back to us blessed and multiplied. We can choose whether to open ourselves and accept and radiate it and accept that energy, or whether and share it with the world. But we also have the choice to shut it down. Right? We have the choice to shut ourselves off from God. Like when we feel separate from God, guess who moved? Guess who closed the door? It certainly wasn't the divine. So we have that choice at any moment. And sometimes, when you're going along and it just feels like, something's got to change. This is just too hard. Stop, take a breath, get still. And then there's this, when you remember that we are one with God, that God is our source, there is just this amazing feeling of release, of feeling part one with life, and that life just flows. And whatever is going on out here, it dissolves. That's right. It dissolves. And so the new life is energized. It's like turning on a light switch, right? Because we remembered to plug our computer in. It doesn't work very well until it's plugged in, right? And then we put it on the internet, and then it really will be powerful. And so we have that capacity to receive and give love if we acknowledge it. Now, knowing this, how does it change how we treat each other? Right? Our family relationships then become treasured, intimate connections with a part of the one and with ourselves. Right? And so when we have challenges in our family, it's something where we're going to stick with that relationship so that we learn whatever it is for us to learn, for us to grow by that opportunity, right? It's a challenge that's calling us forth because whatever situation we're in, God is in the midst of that situation as well as within us. And so it's a some way it's a surrendering. And so whatever we think was the answer may or may not be the answer. So when we pray and meditate, our consciousness goes beyond those limits of how life must be to something greater, and we see those infinite possibilities, right? And it's an amazing to have life open up in that way. When you and I, we live our best lives as we, right? The hermits can go live on their own, and they can control everything in their environment. And some of the mystics will go and meditate on the hillside. But if you really want to put that faith into action and really strengthen it, try living in the world. And then you're going to see, when you get that pushback, you really have to go even deeper and stronger and strengthen your connection with spirit. Creating a world that works for everyone requires a level of consciousness that has never existed before as a society. We've evolved, and in Matthew 22:35, Jesus said to him, "Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with thy whole heart, and with thy whole soul, and with thy whole mind. And the second is like to this: Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments dependeth the whole law and the prophets." Right? That's the basic, the most important commandments. We had the original 10 commandments, but these are summing it up in the terms of love, which is what Jesus was all about. And so we come from oneness. We become self-aware. We realize that we need each other. We realize that we are each individualizations of that one universal spirit, and that you are a part of me. And through all of this exercise, we have a deeper understanding of practice of how we relate to each person. And what we do to each other, we have done to God and to ourselves. We evolve together. We lift ourselves as a species, as a human race up together. And our decisions and actions can be made for the highest and best for all involved. Yes, we have to take care of ourselves. Yes, we have to set boundaries. But in the end, whatever is the highest and best for all people is where we want to be headed. Again, in Matthew 25:35-40, there's a story that Jesus is talking about on the day of judgment, although we don't really, judgment is, heaven is a consciousness that we exist here on earth. But thinking of it in those terms, it calls us to greater compassion and a more convicted practice. And so Jesus instructed his disciples in Matthew 25, "For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me." Then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you as a stranger and invite you in, or naked and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you?" The king will reply, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these my brethren, you did for me." Right? We take care of each other. And so this is the highest and best for all involved. Now, let's bring this into the current society. When we make decisions for the highest and best for all involved, the Olaf Scholz, who is the new German prime minister, and he made a comment this last week, and he, like I, has been very dismayed by what's happening in Ukraine, right? And he said that Putin's Russia has acted counter to the belief that most of Europe had developed, that we thought that we'd evolved past those tribal consciousness, evolved past when one country would invade another sovereign country without its permission, right? Just because they wanted their resources or their territories. And they just, I want it, I'm going to take it, right? We thought that we had gone beyond it. Ukraine is a very valuable country overall. They produce something like 80% of the European grain. They have industrial manufacturing. They have high tech. They've been very successful in the years since they have come out of behind the Iron Curtain, right? And so Russia wants some of that, right? But they're just taking it. And so this consciousness is really bothering Olaf Scholz and me. And I think that's one reason, we all have this idea that we're evolving. We have the nuclear non-proliferation treaties, we learned during the Cold War era that, if I bomb you, you're going to bomb me and we'll both be gone, right? So there's this tension of knowing there's a line that we can't go beyond because we are part of the one life. We depend on each other is the bottom line. And so we need to develop together. The same thing is on gun control. The individual right to carry a gun compared to the right of someone to, children to attend a July 4th parade with their grandparents and be safe and have fun. What is the highest and best for society? So we really need to think about this. Now, that there was in 2006, I have to find the story here. In 2006, there was an incident in the Amish community, and so it was at a school called the West Nickel Mines School, and it's a one-room classroom, October 2nd, 2006, and it's in Bart Township in Lancaster County in Pennsylvania, near where I grew up, and the media took it over, as it happens when any incident like this happens, and a gunman took 10 girls aged 6 to 13 hostage. He then shot 8 of them, killing 5, before killing himself in the schoolhouse. This is a major tragedy. The young girls of this community, right, all of them in that grade, in that school. And so it was easy to envision the Amish community would feel hatred for that man that had perpetrated this act of violence. And yet, on the day of the shooting, a grandfather of one of those murdered Amish girls was heard warning some relatives not to hate the killer, saying, "We must not think evil of this man." Another Amish father noted he had a wife and mother and a soul, and now he's standing before a just God. All right? Judgment is God's. The consequences are of God. Jack Meyer is a member of the Brethren community that lives near the Amish in Lancaster County. He explained, "I don't think there's anybody here that wants to do anything but forgive and not only reach out to those who suffered a loss, but to reach out to the family of the man who committed these acts." A Roberts family spokesman said that an Amish neighbor went over and comforted the Roberts family of the killer just hours after the shooting and extended forgiveness to them. The Amish community members visited and comforted Robert's widow, parents-in-law. One Amish man held Robert's sobbing father in his arms, right, for more than an hour to comfort him. And the Amish had also set up a charitable fund for the family of the shooter. Right? About 30 members of the Amish community attended the Roberts funeral, and Marie Roberts, the widow of the killer, was one of the few outsiders invited to the funeral of one of the victims. Marie Roberts wrote an open letter to the Amish neighbors, thanking them for their forgiveness, their grace and mercy. She wrote, Your love for our family has helped to provide the healing that we so desperately need. Gifts you have given have touched our hearts in a way that no words can describe. Your compassion has reached beyond our family and beyond our community, and it's changing the world. And for this, we sincerely thank you. This is a beginning of a shift, so that the next person, instead of feeling that anger, they will meet with love. It doesn't make it okay, but it's a symptom of our whole society that we need to address as a whole society. Right? Whatsoever you have done unto the least of these, my brethren, you have done unto me. Right? We protect ourselves and each other by coming together and standing for the divine truths, by standing for love, by knowing that the rule of law and the rule of divine right action is more powerful and stronger than anything else that could happen. You know, when we were on our vacation, one of the tour guides that we met, I think in Denmark, was a woman from Russia. And she had remarried, and she was living in Denmark. And so her daughter, who is a young adult, and her mother were still living in Russia. And so when the invasion of Ukraine happened, she was really dismayed. And so she went online on her website, and she said that she was embarrassed to be Russian. You know, that her people were doing this kind of thing. And so she got out there, and so it really started going viral, right? And the website was based in Russia. Well, within 2 weeks, her website was down. Russia took care of that. And she was afraid to start again because she still had her family in Russia. So she didn't go online, but she spoke to us, the 30 people that she was taking on this tour of Copenhagen. And you could see that she was doing what she could to stand up for the truth of what she knew to be the truth about the Russian people and her life and what she stood for. And so we were all touched, and it united us all together, I think, right? We are our brothers and sisters' keeper. So all of this comes together. So we take our individual actions in prayer, keeping our own consciousness high. We take it in actions that when we are called to do something, whether it's small and just saying hi to someone as we were there. I know a woman that she was a grocery clerk, and her practitioner work was to smile and have a positive conversation with each person that went through her line. You know, it's something small, or it could be something big. Whatever we're called to do, it is all important. And so when we vote, it's about our country making decisions for that highest and best for all of our people. In our center, one of the things that we've been talking about, we tithe on our donations every month. And so now that, the COVID is mostly over, we want to get back into doing some actual physical outreach and participating in our community at an even higher level. Because that's part of service that we're called to. It's part of our sacred spiritual practice. So there's many things to do, but it all comes down to that relationship with God, that we are all part of the one, and you and I are we. Let's take this to prayer. As we come together, as we let go and let God, we remember that God is all there is, that there is only one life, that it is God, and it is amazing. It is infinite love. It is infinite joy. It is infinite peace, infinite wisdom, infinite energy. And each one of us is a part of that one life. There is absolutely no separation. Any apparent separation is now dissolved because it has no power. It is just something that we believe in, that we let go. And underneath, that true connection is now released, and it is joyful and full of life. And as we are clear in this consciousness of who we are, this Christ consciousness, we individually and collectively attract to us those people who are ready to work with us to bring a higher level of experience into life, friends that we can share time together in spiritual practice and enjoying life and all of its good things, sharing with each other, lifting each other up. Today, I lift you up. Tomorrow, you lift me up. We are in this together. And so I know that each individual is on their own path to evolve and sense that divine presence within themselves, and all people on their own pace. Each one of us is loving and loved, for that divine love connects all people. I know that the understanding and acceptance of each other as parts of the divine is growing in this moment and every moment. And as we allow that divine to express, we care for each other. Each person has adequate food and shelter in this world that works for everyone. We each are able to live life in safety and peace. We each have fulfilling work that supports ourselves and our family. We experience love and friendship and joy. I know that each person is empowered to become their highest self, to express their divine potential. So we willingly and lovingly do our part, what we are called to do, to support and empower each other. We give and we receive. Together we create a world that works for everyone. This is true for us. This is true for our loved ones. It is true for everyone in our community. It is true for everyone and everything that we may know or may not yet know. Everyone in the entire world, an entire universe, all people and all things as well. We are lifted up as we live and work together as parts of the one life that is God, that is love itself. And so it is with gratitude that I see and experience love and acceptance and wholeness everywhere within me and all around me. The divine gifts are given freely, and freely we receive them, and it is good. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. And I release these words to the law, knowing that it is already done, and even greater. And together we say, and so it is. And so we have one more song from Angelika.
So this song is called I Am Who I Am, and it's by Guru Ganesh Singh. And it's a really fun one, a little upbeat, so feel free to sing along if you want to. I am who I am, that is that. I am who you are looking back. You are who I am, can you imagine that? There is one God and that's a fact. I am who I am, that is that. I am who you are looking back. You are who I am, can you imagine that? There is one God and that's a fact. Joy to the world, peace on the earth. God bless all beings everywhere. Joy to the world, peace on the earth. God bless all beings everywhere. I am who I am, that is that. I am who you are looking back. You are who I am, can you imagine that? There is one God and that's a fact. I am who I am, that is that. I am who you are looking back. You are who I am, can you imagine that? There is one God, and that's a fact. Joy to the world, peace on the earth. God bless all beings everywhere. Joy to the world, peace on this earth. God bless all beings everywhere. Everywhere, 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 everywhere. I am who I am who you are. Looking back, you are who I am. Can you imagine that? There is one God, and that's a fact. There is one God, and that is that.
Love those I am, God looking back. So when we look in someone's eyes, there is the that there's that life energy that's there, and it doesn't really matter what age they are. There is just that life, that spirit that's there. That's so exciting to see the divine within them. So now is our prosperity time. And at CSL Tahoe-Truckee, we know that God is our infinite source for our center and for each one of us as individuals. So your donations to the center are one way that you can support our vision of embracing all and serving with love while awakening to the one. Our spiritual community is excited about diving deeper and experiencing spiritual transformation, divine love, and wholeness. It takes funding to support our center and staff and to let the world know who we are. So it's your generous donations that from people like you that make it all possible. So thank you. If you would take your offering and hold it over your heart, and we have some envelopes there if you want to put it in there and make sure you get identified, or um, or whatever, however it comes in. And so if you would repeat the prosperity affirmation with me. I gratefully and joyfully share my offering, which flows from God, my infinite source. My gift blesses this center and all who are guided, healed, and empowered by its activities. All I share with life returns to me blessed and multiplied.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
So it is with great gratitude that we receive these gifts that have been freely and generously given of time, talent, and treasure. We know that it is all the divine flow. It is infinite and supports us perfectly as we share it with the world as well. Life is good. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, and so it is. All right. Okay. So I want to welcome our guests that are here with us this morning. And if you are a first-time visitor, I want to welcome you especially. We have a guest book over here that you can sign, and there's some sheets. If you want to get on our newsletter mailing list, you can put it in there. It's right next to where the prayer request box is as well. And we have a welcome packet for you. So it has a little bit about our center and a copy of the Science of Mind magazine. So it has wonderful daily meditations in it. So, would you like to introduce yourself just briefly? Hi, Dan and Julian. And we have two other ones here. Boy, that's a good time. Just wait until he's a little can run on his own. All right. So, welcome. The And so it's now time for our announcements, and I'm going to go. We're running late, so I'm going to kind of go through these quickly. But right after service, we have hospitality. So if you're online, please stay on, and you can speak with each other on in the Zoom in the chat. Or if you're here, please join us for some refreshments and get to know each other a little bit better, and hang out with our friends. You can always check out our website, tahoecsl.org, which has all the information about our center and lots of great information and Zoom links to the activities that we have. Next Sunday, June 17th, will be in person and on Zoom. I'll be speaking on the topic, You and Me Create Society. And the musicians will be Jared and Shauna Namaste with Love Eternal. And the practitioner will be Nancy O'Neill. The video recordings of our Sunday service and just the minister's talk are uploaded each Sunday, but this week they won't be because our beloved administrator Savannah has resigned. She's moving on to a new position, and so now we're looking for someone new in the office to be an administrator and who hopefully knows how to upload our Sunday videos. So if you know someone, please have them call me. Today is our monthly hike that we do in the summer, and so we'll be meeting here in the parking lot at noon, and we'll be carpooling over to Brockway Summit, or we can caravan, and so it should be a great time to get to know each other in a casual way and make some new friends. We also have a wonderful e-bike group if you're into e-biking, and they meet every Tuesday morning during the summer. So this week, June 12th, the e-bike outing is going to be meeting at Dollar Hill and going riding from there down to Blackwood Canyon, and they'll have lunch at the bridge down there. So see the newsletter for more information. We have a new class starting 2 Tuesdays from now. It's called Meditation is More Than You Think. I'll be leading this class. It goes from, for 8 weeks. From 5:30 to 8:30. And it's a great class, whether you've been in Science of Mind a long time or you're brand new, because we'll be going through 8 different ways of meditating. And you can try them out and see which ones work the best for you, and see if which ones you want to incorporate into your own spiritual practice, because it makes such a big difference in our lives. We have, speaking of outreach, we have an Adopt a Highway program that our center does once a month, and we have about 2 miles of Highway 267 that from the intersection with Lake Boulevard in Kings Beach and goes 2 miles up, and so we clean all of the trash that's on the road. And so if you would like to participate, we'd love to have you. If you're an adult, you can participate. You have to be at least 16, I think. And I have completed a safety class. Get in some information on that safety class if you want to come. We are going to have a drum circle August 14th, which is wonderful. Jim Eaglesmith is coming. The Rabbi Ivan Yakar from the the North Tahoe Hebrew Temple is coming, and we're going to have a member of the Washoe tribe and one more spiritual leader. And so we'll be blessing our center land that we are here. And this is since we are here, and COVID kind of happened, so we would have had this much sooner. But now we're here, and we're blessing. And we've been in this place for about 4 years now. But anyway, that's going to be a wonderful time, and we want to bring in the community. So we'll be meeting out in the back. This will be after service. So it'll be a potluck, and then afterwards. We have another class called Bible Mystery and Bible Meeting that starts August 19th. We have our wonderful annual retreat at Ananda Expanding Light Retreat Center, September 23rd through 25th, and Gary Lynn Floyd, fabulous musician, is going to be our musician and guest facilitator. And there'll be some other guests that'll be joining us as well. So, but if you want to attend, a $200 deposit will hold your spot for the retreat. And we also have ongoing classes that are all online. Well, Sunday service we're in line on in person, but we have a Tai Chi class at 3:30. There's a meditation class based on the Ananda methods, and so there's energization at 4:30, meditation at 5, and on Friday we have a weekly class on A Course of Love. So these are all drop-in. They're all on love offering basis. So this is a wonderful way to include in your spiritual practice. And now is our time to welcome and bless our children. So if we would have our slide, if you would all repeat with me our children's affirmation. We see you, we hear you, we love you. You are a gift from God. And so it is. And last but not least, I want to mention our practitioners. The practitioners are the heart of our center because we know that prayer works, and these people have trained professionally for many years to be licensed, and they would love nothing more than to pray with you today and with a 5-minute miracle after the center. Or if you want to really get into something that's been ongoing in your life, they also are available for longer appointments. And a list of contact information is over there by the prayer box. You can put a request in there, or you can put a request in the chat if you're online. And always go to the website. There's a place to put in a prayer request there as well. Okay, well, if we would form a circle for our affirmation and closing song. All right. Okay, well, the words are on the screen. So if you would repeat with me, I celebrate the we, which is intimately one with itself.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are and what you do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are and all we do is a blessing to the world. It's a blessing to the world.
Thank you. Julian. Hello, Julian. Yes, Julian like music?